A multi-agency investigation leads to the bust of more than 40 suspected gang members.
Welcome back, everybody. President Donald Trump doubling down on his campaign promise to crack down on illegal immigration. And
4:30 a.m. Texas was still asleep until the streets exploded with the roar of battering rams. Within seconds, 12 houses turned into assault points. More than 300 federal agents stormed inside, hunting a Venezuelan cartel that had been poisoning America for years. What began as silence before dawn became the biggest strike against a smuggling network in a decade. Texas had become the epicenter of a system that stretched across the entire U.S. South. The raids simultaneously hit Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, and several border zones where the cartel had long used the I-10 and I-35 highways as their primary fentanyl corridors. Warehouses, apartments, abandoned gas stations, and black logistics hubs had been operating as a single machine, from local suburbs to major metropolitan areas. According to intelligence, the cartel pushed tens of tons of fentanyl through Texas every year, enough to kill millions. Billions of dollars were laundered through legitimate businesses, then funneled back into the network that spanned multiple states. That's why today's operation became the largest in recent years. A strike not at a single gang, but at a fully developed criminal infrastructure. The investigation that ultimately shattered the entire operation didn't begin with large-scale analytics or public statements. It began with the body of a 19-year-old student from a Texas college. He died in his dorm room after taking a pill he bought to prepare for an exam. The lab found a dose of fentanyl inside, strong enough to stop a heart within minutes. A tragic incident for parents and friends, but for federal agents, it was a signal they could no longer ignore. 48 hours after the tragedy, local detectives sent the sample to a joint FBI, DEA, HSI task force that had been tracking suspicious mail shipments from border areas for months. The match was exact. The chemical signature on the pill aligned with other packages previously seized in El Paso and Laredo.
A single tragedy became the first puzzle piece in a much larger picture. Investigators widened their surveillance channel, monitoring packages, intercepting payments, checking crypto exchange accounts, suspicious shell companies, and cargo entering Texas under the guise of dietary supplements and veterinary products. A complex structure began to emerge. Fentanyl, produced outside the U.S., was funneled through Mexican transporters and then distributed into American cities, disguised as legal imports. The money moved in the opposite direction, through crypto wallets, offshore accounts, and front logistics firms. Agents worked with almost no sleep, placing undercover orders, infiltrating private chats, conducting controlled buys. In green rooms, storage units, auto shops, and mall parking lots, they met low-level couriers who didn't even realize they were working for one of the most aggressive Venezuelan cartels. Wiretaps ran for months. Fragments of voices, rustling packages, coordinates of stash sites criminals believed they had hidden well. Over 18 months, the operation expanded into an international investigation spanning more than 400 suspects across 4 countries. FBI analysts identified 63 companies showing signs of being financial cutouts. They declared cosmetics and household chemicals, yet received crypto transfers from accounts tied to the cartel. The DEA confirmed that at least 3 firms kept double accounting, a legal version for U.S. regulators and a shadow one for drug transporters. The trigger that pushed the operation into its final phase was a shipment of containers from a border hub near Eagle Pass. A routine inspection revealed inconsistencies in documentation. The transport company existed, but the signature on the form was a digital forgery. A deeper check showed it was a node channel, a logistical branch through which the cartel routed tons of precursors and finished pills every year. It meant only one thing: the network was much closer than anyone thought. A unified command center was then formed, more than 140 analysts, agents, and technical specialists.
They worked 24/7, assembling a mosaic of contacts, routes, money trails, and digital fingerprints. And when the cartel's main routing hub finally surfaced on the map, a mirrored warehouse complex between Houston and San Antonio, it became clear. It was time to strike. This investigation didn't just expose a crime. It showed how deeply criminal networks had embedded themselves into legitimate business, infrastructure, and the digital economy. And that's why federal agencies decided the next step couldn't be a targeted hit. It had to be a complete dismantling of the system. That dismantling began at 4:30 a.m. What federal agents saw during the raids confirmed their worst suspicions. The cartel had built a fully functioning criminal ecosystem in Texas, one operating with more precision than some legitimate corporations. Primary production was concentrated in industrial zones near the border, forgotten hangars, half-finished warehouses, former auto lifts.
Inside were steel tables, industrial mixers, filters, presses, and shelves stacked with thousands of bags of chemical precursors. It was there, in camera-free neutral zones with no oversight, that agents seized millions of fentanyl pills ready for shipment. A single truckload was enough to wipe out the population of an entire city. Houston turned out to be the heart of the distribution network. Behind the facade of a logistics center registered as a food warehouse, operated a hub supplying the eastern states. Here, fentanyl was repackaged and disguised as vitamin complexes, feed supplements, and sports nutrition. When agents entered the building, they found more than 28 tons of narcotics in various stages of preparation. Some were already sealed inside double-bottom barrels meant for trucks headed toward Mississippi, Tennessee, and North Carolina. Fort Worth shocked investigators for a different reason. It housed the so-called money houses, locations where cash from the entire network converged. In 3 buildings disguised as an insurance office, a discount shop, and an auto service center, agents discovered $137 million in cash, neatly packed into heat-sealed blocks. Nearby were counting machines, encrypted computers, and hard drives linked to crypto wallets. This was the financial circulatory system of the cartel. Dallas became the point of contact with the group's armed core. Here operated the combat units, veterans of Central American conflicts used by the cartel as force enforcers. They collected debts, guarded warehouses, and escorted shipments. During the operation, agents seized an arsenal: carbines, suppressors, thermal imagers, body armor, digital radios, and evidence that these teams were already planning to expand into other cities. Austin, the political center of the state, turned out to be a corruption node. Several mid-level officials were arrested for providing 2 years of protection to the cartel, blocking inspections, issuing fraudulent permits, and passing along information about law enforcement movements. Files recovered from their apartments showed the cartel paid for their homes, cars, and crypto accounts. The scheme worked like clockwork. Suppliers in South America shipped precursors through Mexican routes to the Texas border. Laboratories in border regions mixed chemicals, pressed pills, and packed them into legal containers. From there, distribution centers in Houston and San Antonio pushed the product further into eastern and midwestern states. The money houses collected payments, converting a portion into cryptocurrency and channeling the rest through offshore companies back to Venezuela and Mexico. In parallel, the cartel ran human trafficking routes, smuggling migrants along the same corridors, storing their documents in safe houses to maintain control. The most dangerous part was that the cartel wasn't simply selling drugs. It was operating a self-sustaining system. From production to financing, from armed units to corrupt officials, every link was protected, duplicated, and concealed. The scale was such that each new batch of fentanyl represented tens of thousands of potential deaths. This is why federal agencies concluded either the system would be dismantled entirely, or it would consume half the country. Preparation for the Texas operation lasted for weeks. After analysts identified the cartel's key hubs, the joint FBI-DEA-HSI command center switched into full secrecy mode. In a sealed hangar on the outskirts of San Antonio, agents rehearsed the upcoming assaults. Convoy movement in darkness, synchronized power grid shutdowns, rooftop entries, and simultaneous breaches from multiple access points. Large assault maps hung on the walls, marked with entry routes, cameras, guards, and high-risk zones. Everything was coordinated down to the minute. Local police, despite participating in the preparation, didn't know the final targets until the last 24 hours to prevent leaks. Rapid response teams, K-9 units, explosives specialists, communications engineers, and medics operated as a single system. Everyone knew their role: who sealed the perimeter, who broke the doors, who secured the upper floors, who evacuated potential hostages or trafficked individuals. The date wasn't chosen at random. Intelligence indicated that new precursor shipments were expected at the border within 48 hours, and a high-ranking cartel leader was preparing to leave the state. Delaying the operation risked the entire phone
Structure disappearing, with dozens of suspects fleeing before agents could strike. That's why the raid was set for dawn, the moment when the cartel was least prepared to defend itself. At 4:30 a.m., the convoys rolled out simultaneously. Every strike, from the Borderland Labs to Fort Worth's money houses, unfolded in perfect sync. Thanks to flawless coordination between agencies, the operation met almost no resistance. Not a single shot was fired at the key locations. The cartel, convinced of its own invisibility, never had the chance to understand what was happening. The results of the Texas operation shocked even veteran agents. In total, more than 50 tons of narcotics were seized: fentanyl, methamphetamine, cocaine, and heroin. Fentanyl pills alone amounted to hundreds of millions of potential lethal doses. In special double-bottom storage boxes, agents found industrial bags of precursors prepared for new production batches. 89 individuals were arrested, including several high-ranking coordinators of the Venezuelan cartel, heads of financial hubs, and supervisors of armed groups. Dozens more, couriers, chemists, technicians, warehouse administrators, are now undergoing interrogation. A separate blow targeted the cartel's arsenal. 400 weapons were recovered, including automatic rifles, serial number-altered carbines, shotguns, suppressors, and even military-grade explosives. In the money houses, agents discovered cash-filled safes, crypto wallets with multi-million-dollar turnover, gold bars, and accounting records for shadow transactions. The total financial loss for the cartel is estimated at $2.4 billion. Authorities also confiscated 22 properties, warehouses, offices, underground laboratories, and dozens of vehicles, including trucks, armored pickups, and cars equipped with concealed compartments.
Among the seized items were servers, communication radios, encryption devices, forged passports, and hundreds of documents from the dismantled network. Several individuals who had been held against their will, mostly undocumented workers and couriers, were rescued and placed under protection. The sheer scale of what agents uncovered confirmed that this wasn't just a network, but a fully developed criminal infrastructure capable of functioning for years. For federal agencies, the operation became more than a success. It was a turning point. By quantity of seized narcotics and number of dismantled nodes, this is the largest anti-drug raid in Texas history. According to DEA analysts, enough fentanyl and precursors were removed from circulation to potentially kill over 15 million people. Within just a few months, border counties reported a sharp, up to 30% drop in overdose incidents, the first real sign that the strike hit its mark. Federal officials say that when the FBI, DEA, ATF, U.S. Marshals, and Border Patrol operate as a single machine, cartels stand no chance. This network has fallen, but the war continues.
"We destroyed their core," one of the operation leaders stated. "And if they try to come back, we will be the first to meet them."
Agents explain that the scheme was dangerous precisely because of its hybrid nature. It combined production, logistics, finance, human trafficking, and corruption into one integrated system. This wasn't just a cartel. It was a death factory spread across an entire state, a DEA coordinator said. Its sprawling structure allowed it to survive for years. Every branch operated autonomously, so the loss of individual couriers never stopped the machine. The breakthrough was possible only through a combination of classical fieldwork and advanced analytics. Interception of crypto payments, analysis of transportation flows, import monitoring, and months of wiretapping. An FBI representative summarized, "We didn't just stop the shipments, we severed the spine of the entire network." Compared to previous operations against Latin American or Asian criminal groups, this one was the most precise. Simultaneous strikes on production sites, money houses, corrupt officials, and armed units deprived the organization of any chance to adapt or reorganize. A structure built over years on fear and connections collapsed in a single night.